This is Joey Stats qualifying in the 22 Caterpillar. We also have the 28 Black Monster car of Ed Adams. Scotty Brown is driving his gold Miller Lite car. John Caudle's on the track again in his 07 U.S. Marine Corps car. James Lehman driving the 05 Reese's. And Jamal. And his name's not in the sim right, so I don't actually know his name. But he is supposed to be in the number 1 car, and he's in the number 11 white Navy car. John Caudle sitting on the best time right now, 27.326. James Lehman just behind, 27.364. Ending his run with some donuts. So we've got 5 qualifying times down. Caudle, Lehman, Stats, Brown, and Adams. Looks like Jim Westerfield has jumped in his car, ready to make some laps. We have Jason Wallet, Jason O'Connor, Josh Mayu. Nick Geilis is working to get in here. And we have Jamal in the number 11. So that's... that looks like it's going to be 10, maybe 11 drivers if Nick Geilis gets in here. Also not sure about Josh Mayu, so we'll see. Maybe we'll have 9 to 11 cars today. Reviewing the standings, Dakota Sadalek is still in the number 1 spot of the driver standings. So we're watching Jim Westerfield go around here. Here are the current standings. Dakota Sadalek on top, who will not be racing tonight. He's in first place by 9 points. 9 points behind him is second place Jason Wallet, who is racing tonight. 22 points back in third place is Matthew Almany, who will not be racing tonight. Then John Caudle, 25 points back from him. He's in tonight. Then Trey Hoovler, Ian Hayes are out. Jason Connor, the number 7, is in the race tonight. Josh Soucy's not here. Stephen Massey's not here. I suppose Nick Geilis is the next one on the, and he's a good 200 points off of first place. So still a long season, and we're only at the beginning of this. And it does look like Nick Geilis got into the race session, so I think we're going to have 10 cars here. Alright, in that pole slot, inside row 1, is John Caudle, starting first. Starting second, on the outside of row 1, the 05 Reese's car of James Lehman. Starting third, inside row 2, is the 22 car of Joey Stats. Outside row 2 is the number 2 of Scotty Brown. Inside row 3 is the black monster car of Ed Adams. And outside row 3 is Jamal in the 11 car. Inside row 4 is the 3 car of Jim Westerfield. Outside row 4 is that Lowe's car of Jason Wallet. And then in the back in row 10 is Nick Geilis. Jason O'Connor and Josh Mayu have not gridded up, so we are going with 9 cars in the race today. And we'll have John Caudle leading him to the green flag here at Darlington. The track that is too tough to tame, and we're going to see how these drivers do today. John Caudle gets the green flag and leads the field to start this race. 147 laps here at Darlington for the Dodge Avenger 400. John Caudle stays in front, heading down onto the backstretch. And Josh Lehman in second there. Complete lap 1. John Caudle in first. James Lehman behind him. Joey Stats in third. We have a caution. Totally missed the caution. Wondering they looked like they were driving a little slow out there. Let's see if we can go back and see what happened. Looks like Jamal got into the wall there. James Westerfield's underneath him. Jamal got into the wall again, came down into Westerfield, took the 2 of them out. And I'm not sure if Jason Wallet got through there without any damages. As you can see, Jamal gets into the wall. Little hot to handle in the corner, gets in the wall again at the end of turn 2 and just can't stay high. And the 48 car is in the pits getting some repairs. Jason Wallet coming out now. Not sure what happened to Geilis here. Let's look and see. Yeah, I'm not sure he got hit, but he's back out on the field. He's catching up to the field now, and we have 7 cars running here at Darlington. Our first caution flag caused by Jamal, who came down and took out Jim Westerfield, who looks like his day is done. So they're lining up for the restart here. Caudle in first. Stats on the outside. Scotty Brown, row 2. Ed Adams, James Lehman, Jason Wallet, and Nick Geilis. And here they come for the restart. Green, green, green again. Caudle back out in the lead with Stats right behind him. Scotty Brown holding down that 3rd spot with Ed Adams in 4th and James Lehman in 5th. Coming down the back stretch for the 2nd time under green. Stats coming down low, but it looks like he lost a little space there. He's back up on Scotty Brown's front bumper now. Oh, and it looks like Lehman's into the wall there and slowing down on the back stretch. He's going to have a little damage to the right side. We'll see how that plays out. Caudle's still out in the lead here, pulling away from Stats. About a half second back to Stats, who's a half second in front of Adams. A little more than a half second to Brown. A half second to Wallet. They're just spreading out here on the field. We've got some trouble there. Or not. We're watching Joey's stats here. It looks like he got a little sideways here coming out of turn 4. Saved it, and he went back 2 positions there. He's going to fall back in. We'll see if he's still up to speed. And there's the gap that Caudle has set out with Ed Adams and Scotty Brown in 2nd and 3rd. Good 2.2 seconds back. Here's the race for 2nd. Ed Adams on the outside in the 28, Scotty Brown on the inside in that golden light number 2. A little loose there and falls back into 3rd. Scotty Brown is now just in front of Joey Stats. Looking to get the position back after getting a little loose in turn 4 there. Looking for Brown on the inside. And takes 3rd place. Here is your first place driver, John Caudle. Now 3 seconds out in front of the field. Coming down the home stretch. Almost up to 300 miles there on the miles per hour there on the back stretch before coming through turns 3 and 4. He is your leader and has put himself in a position. Oh, and he gets high and hits the wall on the outside in turn 1 there. And it looks like he's lost almost a second on his interval from that. Let's see, he comes down into the turn and he doesn't get low. Ends up high and in the wall there. Caudle's still slightly over 2 seconds on that gap. You can see Ed Adams just in the corner of the screen coming around turn 4. Caudle, who's led all 15 laps of this race, back to putting down fast times, only maybe 35 milliseconds slower than Ed Adams behind him. So we'll see. There doesn't appear to be any severe damage to his car, and he's still putting down the good times. Now under 28 seconds in that lap, clearly the best in the field, and pulling away again out ahead. Now 2.7 seconds, you see the interval there. And Nick Geilis is in the pits.
Nick Geilis is in the booth.
Hey, Nick!
I decided to hike my way up here and join you because the car's toast.
Yeah, we saw you. I don't think I know what happened to you actually. You know what?
I'm all 3 straight laps.
And you're just going to absolutely.
Yeah, it 3 straight laps went into 3 and didn't matter how hard I got onto the brakes. It just went straight to the wall and said, bye-bye.
And you're going to absolutely kill me here because I put the standings up on the screen just before the race, and I didn't take them back off when the race started. So until just this moment when you came in, there was no video of the race being broadcast. At full audio, well, I mean, partial. But that sucks. I do have a couple replays I can go back to.
Mistakes happen. It's part of it.
Yeah, it's learning, but I'm trying to make the best of it.
I will say it does look like Joey Stats in the number 22 Dodge is closing in on Ed Adams in the number 28 Toyota. This is, they call it the track too tough to tame for a reason. She is a handful. If you go below the dotted white lines, you're screwed. Even though there's all that racing surface down there, you can't do it. It's just going to screw you, and then you got to run in this really tight area through 3 and 4, and it's so hard to pass here. And I kept trying to get by the 48 cleanly. I didn't want to get into them. I didn't want to wreck them, and I ended up putting myself in the wall. And that's that. Night over. We'll move on to Dover. I think part of my issue was I didn't get the practice time I would have liked. I had to run home and try to make it into the race the last second. But move on to next week and be prepared for Dover.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that I got you. I don't think I even caught where you slammed into the wall there. The only incident that I picked up, I guess this was right at the beginning, wasn't it?
The 1 and the 3, or the 11 and the 3?
Yeah, where Jamal got up into the wall there. I'm showing the replay now.
Yeah.
Jamal got into the wall and then took out Westerfield. And did you came through that? I mean, you had a great view of the incident, but you looked like you got by unscathed. I didn't see what happened when you pulled in.
I just pitted the pit at that point, and then I wanted to look back and see, because it told me I had a 2x for contact. So I was like, okay. So I pitted in to see if I had any damage, which I didn't at that point in time, but I went on to clobber the wall 3 straight laps. So I had damage at that point.
Well,
now, I will say, while Ed is losing ground to Caudle, Joey, on the other hand, he's not really gaining, but he's not losing ground on Caudle either.
But he is going to have to drive through Ed in order to get there, and he's up on his bumper now.
And while you probably didn't see it, because it was before I got in here. Joey was, I believe, running second or third and had to make a huge save coming off of 4. And that's what put him that's what put him behind Scotty and Ed. Actually, I think he was second because he was in front of him.
His back end came out. He was about to lose it. I mean, it was a great save, and he came all the way down to the bottom side near the wall, and before he got back up into traffic.
Yeah, he just clobbered the wall through 4. It's that old broadcaster's curse. As soon as you start talking about them, they do something stupid. So we'll see if he can recover from this. But I mean, me personally, I had 33 seconds of damage repair with mine, and it was toast. I couldn't run faster than 29 seconds, but looks like he okay. Oh, there goes the 48, and
that's Joey Stats too.
Yep.
Getting sideways there to bring out the second caution of the race. Yep, the 48 got high into the wall, lost it, and then nosed down into the 22. Now the 48's coming in.
22 is as
22's coming in. They're all coming in. Caudle and Adams are on pit road. Wallet and
Stats.
Stats.
Surprised me that they're all in with 29 laps on the tires. It's no big surprise to me.
Yeah, their lap times are really coming off there at the end. A good second and a half.
Now, we'll see if Joey will be able to collect enough time on pit road to get all of his damage repaired before the pace car comes around to lap him. Because if he can...
he overshot his pits, had to back up.
Oh, it is not going well for the guyless Dodge Motorsports cars tonight. And we'll have a new leader.
Ed Adams comes out first in that black monster... I can't tell. Toyota.
Yes, it is a Toyota Camry. The lone Camry in the field. In fact, I believe Ed is the only Camry, Caudle is the only Ford, Stats is the only Dodge now, and Jason's the only Chevy.
Caudle came out second.
They're all different manufacturers. How about that? Correction, we only have 4 cars.
And here comes the pace car. Just crossing the stripe now. And Stats is away. Wallet's in the pits, and we'll go a lap down.
Ooh. Although, I believe he had a lot more damage than Joey did. He nailed the wall with the car, and then he bounced off of it right into Joey.
Well, hopefully they'll be able to get back underway soon and still be able to run a car up to speed.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to hop back up top. I got a race car that I can still drive, so I'm going to try to put some more laps in.
Well, we'll see on the track.
All right.
Sorry for everyone again for kind of munging up this broadcast. I wonder if I can find some of these old bookmarks. I think we're still at least 1 to green here. This is just some of the racing from earlier. I don't have a good bookmark, unfortunately, to get back to all these little incidents, so we'll just go to the field, coming down the backstretch, ready to take the green again. There's Nick back out on the field in the 9 Budweiser. He's showing 17 laps down right now, but we'll be doing circles. And here comes Jason Wallet. He's 2 laps down for the restart. And they're going to get the green flag here with our new leader, Ed Adams, on the inside. And we'll see how long he can hold off John Caudle. Taking the stripe well in front. Opened up a little more than a half-second lead there over John Caudle in second. And we have Joey Stats in third. Ed Adams, John Caudle, Joey Stats. 1, 2, 3 right there. Right there on your screen. And in the back we have Nick Geilis and Jason Wallat, both laps down. 2 for Jason, 17 for Nick. But Ed Adams is leading this race, now 34 laps in, out of 147 total here at Darlington. Down the backstretch, Caudle has knocked 2/10 off the gap. He's now only 0.4, 0.5 behind. Oh, and he's hit the wall again. And he has some problems, and it looks like Joey Stats, and the caution is out. Let's see what happened here. Here's Caudle. Entering turn 3. And he hits that wall, just doesn't make the turn, ends up high, and comes right down in front of Stats, who rear ends him directly in the rear. Caudle right up into the wall and unfortunately just came down right in front of Stats. And here come Caudle and Stats into the pits. The other cars will stay out. Stats is smoking very heavily. Looks like he's got some engine trouble there. He did rear end Caudle right in the back. You see that rear end damage to Caudle. Also the right side damage where he went into the wall. Caudle's going to pull in. So is Stats, and let's see. Taking new tires while the repairs are going on. There goes Jason Wallet, getting his wave around lap. He's now only going to be 1 lap down on the restart. Caudle and Stats both still in the pits. And Stats is away. Joey Stats looks like he got that car fixed back up to where he can drive away. John Caudle is still in the pits. And here comes the pace car. And Caudle's getting away right ahead of the pace car. Looks like probably staying in there for some optional repairs. And here's your leader, Ed Adams. And Wallet and Guileless here are in the pits now, making stops. Wallet here a lap down, pitting on the 2nd lap. Guileless 17 laps down now, pitting. Or on the 3rd lap, perhaps. Only 5 cars out here running, and still having a little problem keeping track of everything going on. But you're seeing it all. There's Ed Adams in the 28 Monster car. He is your race leader at the moment. Outside the damaged front end, number 22, Joey Stats. And then row 2 has our 2 lapped drivers. Jason Wallet in the 48 Lows, the blue car there, who is 1 lap down. And Nick Guileless, who is 17 laps down. The lights are off, and they're lined up in 2 rows, ready to restart this next time around. John Caudle is racing right now to catch up to the field. I think he is coming through turns 3, coming out of turn 2 now down the backstretch, going 270 miles an hour behind these cars. And they're going to get the restart here. There's Caudle sliding in at the back. And Ed Adams taking the green flag again, 40 laps down. Sorry, 41 laps down. Ed Adams may have the only car, may now have the best car out there, the only one that hasn't been dinged up and repaired. Over a 1.5 seconds in front now, John Caudle, over John Caudle. Who is in 2nd? Let's go back and take a look at this restart one more time. Let's see from Caudle's perspective here. He's going to move right by the slower cars on the inside, including Joey Stats. Joey Stats is not up to speed. He's running 29 seconds. Ed Adams and John Caudle are both running sub 28 times, so they're in fact Caudle's just a little faster on the lap. He's currently 1.2 seconds behind there in 2nd place, you can see, behind Ed Adams. There's your leader, Ed Adams. Now only 1 second back to John Caudle. Caudle closing this gap. He was running away from the field right on the green flag until he had this incident where he ran up into the wall and came down right in front of Stats. And Caudle is still running the faster time. He shaved another 200ths off it, or 2/10. Oh, he's falling back now, though. Yep, now Caudle 2/10 of a second behind Adams in his lap time. Back to almost that full second behind again. Ed Adams and John Caudle now. And John Caudle 3/10 better than Adams on that last lap. Down to just 6/10 behind. Go to the blimp cam for a little bit, kind of see this interval a little better as these drivers head around the circuit. Down the back stretch they go. Now just 1/3 of a second between them. Caudle a little loose there coming outside of turn 2. Still keeping the interval though, just under a half second, and it looks like he has a little bit of speed here. Caudle just 1 or 2 miles per hour faster than Adams there coming down the front stretch. And Caudle's got more speed coming out of turn 2. Caudle still has the speed.
Well, I'm going to rejoin you back up here. I got into the top 5, and I'm happy now. I have a top 5, so that's okay with me.
You have a car that kept running.
I mean, it could still run, but I'm tired of putting it into the wall every single lap, so... Let's just say when we come back in the fall, I'm going to have more practice time for it, hopefully, as long as I have the day off. Like next week when we head to Dover, the Monster Mile. One of the few tracks on the schedule paved in complete concrete.
Caudle's back in the wall again in turn 3, losing the time he just gained on Adams. The last 10 laps, he's been grinding away that second interval. He had it down to 2/10, and now into the wall, and he's back up to 2 seconds behind.
Absolutely, and it's one of the things that you have to deal with Ed. Ed is a very, very consistent driver in that Monster Energy Toyota Camry, and he hasn't been able to make too many races here lately. He's got some real-life obligations. He was free this weekend, So here he is, and we're happy to have him along and on board. And nonetheless, we'll move forward with this. He's trying to put Toyota in the victory lane for the first time this year. So far, your only winners on the year for manufacturers are Chevy, Ford, Dodge, and BMW.
Also, I have to say, I put in a bunch of test laps on the track earlier today, and I found myself hitting that wall on 3 a lot. For some reason, I really wanted to take a high line around 3 and to get up there by the wall, and if you don't take that turn at the right time, you're just in it.
Absolutely. It's actually, and I'm not gonna lie about this, go to Rockingham 1 and 2. It's a lot like that there, which we'll see here in a couple of weeks when we go to Rockingham. I believe it's the first of the year. Not actual New Year's, but the first Saturday of the year, 2018.
When I was driving at Rockingham, at the Rock, I felt like I did on the American Eagle at Six Flags Great America in Chicago. It's a lot of fun, but you just feel like you're going to die constantly.
That sounds like Rockingham. It's a special track to me. I love it. And, yep, January 6th, 2018, the EA Sports 400 at Rockingham Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina, or wherever the hell it is. I don't know. I think it's Rockingham County.
I believe that's in North Carolina.
It is in North Carolina. I do know that for a 100% fact. I don't know the city. So our next 5 races as they appear on the schedule. Tonight is the Dodge Avenger 400 as we are finishing this one up. Next week we head over to Dover, the Monster Mile, 100% concrete for the Dodge Dealers 400. Move on the following week to the Iowa Speedway out in the middle of BFE, in the middle of some cornfield. Let's put it that way. Which means that the name for that race is fitting. The American Corn 400. So go figure on that.
That's what they have in Iowa.
That's about all they have in Iowa is corn. Following that race, we'll head up to the hills of Brooklyn in Michigan to the Michigan International Speedway for what will be certainly a battle of the manufacturers at a high-speed banked oval that is going to be one hell of a ride. And then following that race is the EA Sports 400 at the Rockingham Speedway.
Which is, surprisingly, in the city of Rockingham, North Carolina.
Really? Okay. So I was right the first time I mentioned that. Following the Rockingham event, the EA Sports 400, we head to up the coast to the farthest north that we go, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. The race is the Lennox Tools 300, and that race will, of course, be 150 laps during the sun. And then we'll make the final announcement here. We'll get to halfway at the following race after the Lennox Tools 300. We head to the Pepsi 400 live from the Daytona International Super Speedway under the lights. And let me tell you, if there's any one of those races that I am looking forward to, it's the Pepsi 400.
I think Cottle got into the wall again, but I couldn't find it on the replay. But he's back to over 2 seconds back behind Adams, who has the only car that hasn't wrecked.
And that's going to be the key here. That's probably what's going to end up with Ed winning the race, not damaging the car.
Yeah, this race is going to be who can run 147 clean laps. And
Absolutely.
Right now that's Ed Adams.
And we will head back, for those who are wondering, when we do come back. We come back February 10th, 2018, for the Mountain Dew Southern 500, live from Darlington. And then the following week, we're right back at Rockingham. So how about that? In fact, after Daytona, we will head to Chicagoland, then Indianapolis, and then we head to Darlington, then Rockingham. So you have a super speedway, then you get a mile and a half, or an easy mile
Looks
and a
like
half.
Ed Adams is coming in here to pit here.
Ooh. Now, very good on the pit stop. Didn't overshoot it like I did twice. I don't know if you caught that, but I managed to overshoot it twice.
Well, we'll see. Ed is coming down now. He's about halfway down pit road.
Cotterell's about halfway down. Actually, Cotterell's on 3 and 4 now. But he's just got so much damage on that rear end. It's pushed in. The spoiler's pushed up. It's not looking good for him. It's not been a good race tonight overall, and we do apologize for it. We had a lot of guys that didn't show up because they didn't have the track. We had a lot of guys who didn't have track time. It didn't bode well, and we will hopefully have better results next week from Dover. I know I will be ready for it. I assume everybody that shows up will be ready for it, and I will be making sure that we have extra practice going into that race. I will be setting a practice race for the guys on Friday, and if ARAN wants to be there to broadcast, like the real life would be, I'd be happy to have you.
For the practice?
For the practice. We'll have a practice race on Friday. Get you some practice, get us some practice. Everybody gets practice.
I guess we can all use it.
We talking about practice here.
We can tell that joke all night. Ed Adams looks... He's rejoined the field here in third place behind Jason Wallet.
And that doesn't surprise me. He's a lap down. He will pass Jason fairly easily. Fresher tires and everything. And of course, I feel like he'll get by Cottle as soon as Cottle decides to pit. So that'll be. You
also have an opportunity if you want to jump back out there and run another 22. It looks like fourth place may be available as Joey Stats has parked his car.
Nah, Joey is my team driver. I'll let him hold on to that. We'll finish fourth and fifth and be happy with it. I don't need to put the car in the wall anymore. I already know that's exactly what would happen if I got back out there. I have proven enough that I can put a car in the wall, and we'll move to Dover and hopefully not put a car in the wall. Maybe I'll finally have some luck when I step away from the red cars and move into the Walmart car next weekend.
Do you guys keep track of all the the revenue coming into these teams and what they're getting from sponsorships and how much they're spending on getting the cars out there? There's like a whole business aspect to this league, right?
No, you're thinking of a different one. We don't have fake money. We don't utilize fake money. We're not that sophisticated at this point.
You do have different... How do you determine how many cars teams have and who the sponsors are?
Basically, the team owner gets to pick those items. At least for the season. Now, there's discussion of adding a money feature. There's discussion of a few different things. We have to grow, though, before we start adding stuff like that. But nonetheless, I will always own a team in the league. We will always drive Dodges, and that will be that. I won't hear anything other than I'm driving a Dodge. And you can attest to this, my team will always feature the 9 and the 19. The other two numbers will be subject to change, but you can always expect the 9 and the 19. So essentially the old Evernham Motorsports cars.
So Caudle last pitted on lap 39, so he's 37 laps into these tires. And what, we had one caution that came out through there? We had 2 cautions.
Sounds about right.
I have a caution on 27 and another one on lap 35. Oh, but Caudle pitted on 35 during that caution, so he's been on a green flag run.
He will, of course, have to pit at some point. Ned has overtaken Jason, so Ed will move it back into the second position as he will now try to run down Caudle for his lap back.
And
it's not exactly a large gap between the two either. Honestly, I'd say it looks to me like Caudle's probably trying to play that same strategy he played a week ago that took him to victory lane at Charlotte. And I just don't think that with the damage he has that it's going to play right this week. But it's probably the only strategy he has. As Ed's going to take a look to the inside, he's going to get to this door. He is clear of Caudle going into 3 and 4. What a move to get his lap back and now put him on the lead lap and in position to retake the lead once John Caudle pits.
Well, he's got an extra 10 to 15 miles per hour on him going around the track right now, and I could just assume that that's all due to tire wear at this point. The last lap, there was 1.3 seconds difference between them. And we're going to have to see Caudle come in soon.
I don't doubt it by any means. It's got to be time. I don't know how long he's going to push this car, but I think the farther he pushes it, the more he hurts himself.
Yeah, John Caudle, just, you know, I'm now figuring out how to read this event log, but John Caudle last pitted on lap 39 just before they went green on 40. So he's 41 laps out there right now, and looking at this now, I have to wonder if he's going to just try to push this an extra 10 laps and maybe just go on one stop. One more stop, I should say.
It's possible. I don't know how. I don't think he'll win it that way, though. I really don't.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a winning strategy. He's just too far off the pace with these tires. And in the wall again.
Gee, why does that sound familiar?
So we're looking at like 28, 29 seconds around the track, and Ed is 24 and a half seconds behind Caudle right now. And he's gaining on him by almost 2 seconds a lap. So 12 laps, he's going to be fighting him for first if Caudle doesn't come in. And Caudle just hit the wall again in 3 and 4. I guess that's why they call it the Darlington Stripe.
That is why they call it the Darlington Stripe, and I believe Ed is the only one who doesn't have one so far. Which means, Eddie, old boy, you are currently in the driver's seat.
So Ed pitted on 67. Wallet last pitted at the same time as Caudle.
So essentially eliminating himself completely because he's already a lap down. I mean, I don't want to say completely, but I mean, He has damage. He's already a lap down. He's much slower than the both of them. I don't see how he really stands a chance at this.
Well, he's not much. He's not pulling around much slower than Caudle right now. Both of them have cars that are on such bad tires. You know, they're driving pretty gingerly compared to Ed Adams right now.
Yeah, who's on that fresh rubber and just pouring. Like I said, it's nice to have Ed back. We've missed him here for a while. He's I think it's been since Bristol that he wasn't able to. That was the last time he raced, or it was the week before Bristol. So it's been quite some time, but it is wonderful to have him back. We look forward to having him back more often, but I know life kind of takes priority, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's understandable, and that's where he's at. That's where a lot of guys are sometimes, and it is disappointing that we don't get to have the fields that I know we can. It's disappointing to not have the shows that we get to have, and we'll move on to Dover, and I'm going to try to put on the biggest field that we can, but nonetheless, we do what we have to do, and the show goes on every single week. I'd also like to apologize for John Caudle's stupidity in what you guys will see on the scoring ticker of the 11 car being driven by the number 1. Caudle idiotically put the number 1 as the driver nickname for Jamal, and so therefore when Jamal entered, he had his number 11 that was probably on his car on normal occasions. That was the car number they gave him, and then his nickname was 1, so that is why you see a driver by the name of 1.
And here comes Caudle. He's coming into the pit road now. And
Perfect
it looks
job.
like Wallet is doing the same thing.
That doesn't surprise me. Although I think he's going to have a rough time getting in there. Oh, yes, he did. I don't know if you saw how hard he had to pull that wheel, but ooh. And at the same time, Ed's going to go by and take over the lead. In fact, he took over the lead before Caudle even got to the start-finish line.
Yeah, Caudle sure lost a lot of time not pitting there. We'll see how his strategy plays out, and he just entered his pit box.
I think he's going to go a lap down.
And the 48 just pulled in.
He's going to go a second lap. Ed's coming around. He is through 1 and 2, or into 1 and 2 now. Absolutely. John Caudle's going to go lap down. I think that was a very stupid decision on his part.
Well, we'll see, because I believe by his strategy now, there's 55 laps to the end of the race, he's planning to go without another stop.
This is true.
And now
But
he's got the fresh tires.
also true. But he is a lap down. Which means that when Ed does pit for his final stop, Ed will have fresher tires. And it will most likely already be on the lead lap and probably not too far behind Caudle.
And Wallet is still in the pits. It looks like he's getting some extended repairs there.
Well, Wallet is kind of confirmed for third place. He really can't lose it at this point, so I don't see why he wouldn't.
So now Caudle's gaining almost a second a lap on Ed right now, which is actually a far cry from the almost 2 seconds a lap he was losing to him before the pit stop. So Ed's going to make another stop where he's going to go down. He's gonna lose a lap on that second stop. What, a lap and a half is it?
It looks like it's about a lap and a half. So he'll be a half a lap behind Caudle. Maybe, depending on how far back Caudle is by the time Ed makes the pit stop. If Ed's smart, honestly, you pit now. or at least within a couple laps. If he pits within a couple laps, that means that Cottle isn't that close to him, and there's enough of a tire difference. And that allows for Ed to have the fresher tires and be at least right behind Cottle rather than a lap and a half.
At this point, no matter when Ed pits, he's going to end up with the tire advantage on Cottle. The longer he waits, the bigger that advantage is going to be. And right now, I mean, well, it's a little more than a second that time, and a little less than a second that time. So I think he's averaging just a little less than a second that he's gaining on him with each lap.
I still think that it might be right around the time that you want to start considering it. Especially now that you can clearly see the 07 in your mirror.
Well, Ed pitted on 29 during a caution, and then he made a green flag stop on 67. So I would expect he's going to be pitting with about 40 laps to go. As you can see, we've had a lead change.
I think now's the time. Now's the time that you got to pit.
Well, that's not a lead change. He's now on the lead lap again.
Right, but now that Cottle has gotten around Ed, now's the time to hit pit road. And there you go. Ed listened. Ed knew what I was talking about. You got plenty of time. You got the tire advantage. And this way, he won't be quite as far ahead of you. And you'll still be on the lead lap, so you won't have to fight your way back onto lead lap. So it really feels like it's the right call to make at this point.
I have to say that I disagree. I mean, I look at this, and he's still got tires that have like 32 laps on them right now. And if he changes them now, he's going to run his tires to 47 laps at the end of the race. And I just feel like if he'd waited maybe 4 or 5 more laps before making this pit, that, you know, he could even that out, and his tires wouldn't quite be so bad at the end. Unless John Cottle's going to be 2 seconds off this pace at the end of the lap, at the end of this race. 2 seconds off the fresh tire pace. And if he could still keep himself at, 1.2 seconds, he'll be in a good position to close things right at the end. But we'll see. They're going to be much closer to each other now.
It's actually almost going to be close enough to where Ed is almost getting a lap.
Well, we did talk about a lap and a half. Here comes Cottle entering the backstretch.
And Ed is currently leaving the back, or turns 3 and 4. So
there's Ed at the stripe. Here comes Cottle. And now he's at the stripe.
22 and a half seconds.
We'll see what speeds Ed will get back up to here, but he set his fastest time is 27.477.
Right, but you do have to take into account that whatever Cottle's fastest lap time was more than likely before he had massive rear end damage.
Well, yeah, that was... Yeah, Cottle right now is putting just above 28s.
Whereas Ed is just below 28s. He's in the 27 range. So Ed's goal right now is to run the laps that he has to run. He has plenty of time. He's got 21 seconds he's got to make up. He's got the fresher tires. And I really feel like honestly, he probably should have pitted earlier. Yes, you're absolutely right about the tires, but that gap is huge right now, and one mistake will end up with Cottle in victory lane. If Ed makes any kind of little mistake, it's over.
And I hate to say that even, but right now the 2 lap times are about a third of a second apart, and their interval is 21 seconds, so they need about 60 laps for Ed to catch John right now, and there aren't 60 laps left in the race, so we're going to have to see when John Caudle's tires start falling off, if the interval, the difference between Ed's lap and John's lap starts to grow wider, and in fact right now it's almost up to a half a second and the last time around.
And Ed, each and every lap, Ed chops off just a tad of John's lead, and that's all it's trying to do. It's trying to chop off time as much as he can and get as close as he can, and I guarantee Ed won't be afraid to give him a little bit of a tap.
And that little bit of a time is now up to 0.8 of a second that Ed took off John's gap that last time around.
So I think Caudle's tires might be at the fall-off point. They might have hit the peak.
This is prime advantage Ed time then. Caudle actually came back and made another good lap. I wonder if maybe he hit the wall there a little bit and I didn't notice it.
I don't know, but Ed only took 1/10 of a second off on that one, so not much there.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
It is very likely that Caudle hit the wall.
Caudle now has caught up behind Jason Wallet, and so he'll pass him. Wallet's down 16 laps at the moment. 15 about to be 16, I believe.
But what this is doing right now, he isn't able to pass Wallet at this moment. Wallet's holding him up because it is so difficult to pass here.
Oh,
Look at that. Caudle has to wiggle there, loses so much speed, and now Ed's going to probably gain a second or even 2 full seconds on his lap.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. It looked like he was going to go low, and then, like, at the last minute decided, I don't know if he lost some traction and had to recover, but then he moved back up behind Wallet. And now...
Don't know. It did look like the back end stepped out on him, so it's whatever that possibly could have happened there, but nonetheless, Ed's going to certainly gain some time after that one. And he does almost a full 1.5 seconds. Actually, almost 2 seconds.
Ed's tires only have 9 more laps on it than Caudle's.
Ed just received his first stripe from the lady in black. And for the first time since getting fresh tires, he has lost ground to Caudle, losing 1/10 of a second. And to be honest, he'll probably lose a little ground on this lap as you lose a little bit of speed coming down that front straight when you scrape that wall. You're 3 and 4.
And there was the replay on it, so you see it was just a little bump on the wall, but enough to knock some speed off.
And actually, I stand corrected. He gained almost a full second on Caudle on that last lap, even after smacking the wall the lap before. So I'm not sure what happened to Caudle that lap that could have caused that unless Caudle got into the wall in 3 and 4. As Caudle is getting pressure from behind in the form of Jason Willott and the 48 Lowe's Chevrolet. We are down to just Chevy, Ford, and Toyota. Looks kind of like NASCAR currently, which disappoints me. At least real life lights. And Ed once again lops off another full second off of Caudle's time. If he keeps this up, 14 more laps. Now, of course, the big difference is that Jason is in between the two of them, and that's going to provide an advantage for Caudle as Jason's going to have to figure out a way to get around, or not Jason, Ed's going to have to figure out a way to get around Jason without costing himself too much
And here
time.
comes Caudle into the pits.
Oh,
He
wow.
really has to brake hard to make that turn.
That's very surprising. I'm shocked at that almost. Caudle had the strategy, and I think if he would have held on to it, he'd probably walk away winner. But Ed's going to walk away the winner now. There's no question about it because Caudle's going to lose a lap. The only way Caudle wins this race is if Ed comes down to pit road.
Caudle's tires are going to be a lot better. A lap and a half is going to be really hard. I mean, he's a half lap up. He's going to come out probably right about the same part in the track that Ed is.
We'll have to see. It should be.
Here comes Ed coming down the home stretch now.
And Caudle is off pit road.
And he's going to be right behind him, maybe, 8 seconds? 1 lap plus 10 seconds?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, Caudle's getting a little loose coming out.
Oh, that's what happens when you floor it out of there. And I can't blame him. He's trying to give it everything he has, but I just don't think with those few laps left that there's enough to get back into it the way he needs to.
Well, we have 30 laps left, and that's about 1 time around the track. So that'll make, if he can cut off a second a lap, that'll be the one, and then he has to find those extra 10 seconds. I mean, it all depends on the tire fall off that Ed Adams experiences. If Caudle can make that up in tire differential, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting, but I think me personally, if I'm betting at this point, I'm putting my money on Ed. I don't think Ed's going to slip up. I don't think Ed's going to screw up. I do think Caudle will get his lap back, but quite frankly, I just think that Ed's tires are well enough and it's far enough along that the gap is going to be too much.
I will say, though, I think that if John Caudle hadn't pitted, he would have lost that race. So this does appear that this is the only move he had available to him.
I don't know. It's questionable because Ed was gaining, but Ed wasn't gaining the way I expected Ed to gain. And then you add that Ed would have had to have passed Jason, which would have added extra tire wear onto his car. And who knows? Maybe Ed wouldn't have been able to pass him. Maybe they would have been on equal footing on the tires. I don't know, but I personally, I think I would have stayed out. I would have went with it. I mean, you made your bed and lie in it. And
Caudle was running a range from like 28.1 to 28.9 on the laps. And Ed is now in the higher end of that range coming around the track, while Caudle is a full better than a second better.
Right, but I do believe that Caudle was running about the same times, right around the time he pitted, if not maybe a little slower.
So now Caudle has got up to the back end of Ed.
And Ed will let him go. Ed's good about that, so there you go. Caudle will get by him through 3 and 4. And Caudle is now back on the lead lap with, I believe, 20-something to go. I'm not sure, 24 to go, I think.
And 1.16 seconds cut off the differential.
But it is still 28 seconds, and let's not forget, Caudle's going to have to get around Jason before it's over.
And 24 laps. But Caudle has much better tires than Jason at this point.
Absolutely, but that could be a bad thing. That means that if he catches Jason through 3 and 4, he's not going to be able to get around him. And if he catches him the wrong way, then he'll be stuck behind him down the front stretch, and he'll be stuck behind him through 1 and 2 as well. So it's hard. You have to time that pass right, because here, if you don't, you're either going to end up in the lull or you're going to end up in a wreck. And I don't think Caudle wants that to happen. I don't think Ed wants that to happen. Well, maybe Ed does. If it happens to Cottle, Ed just kind of gets handed the trophy. Like, here you go, you survived Darlington. In fact, you know what? That might just be the year's trophy for Darlington. Congratulations, you survived Darlington.
Now, Cottle knocked off almost 1.6 seconds that last time around. There's a 24-second interval now with 21 laps remaining. So, you know, if he can knock off a second and a half each time, he's got it. He needs more than a second, though. He needs like 1.2, 1.15 seconds per lap. And the last gap was 1.17 seconds. And 1.3.
I have no doubt that he'll pick off lap times each and every lap, but having to deal with the 48 is gonna be the Achilles heel here, I think.
Are they on complete opposite ends of the track right now? Cottle and Wallet?
Believe. I believe so. I believe Wallet's currently running through 1 and 2. Cottle, actually, no, they're about a corner apart. As we are now under 20 to go. We only have 18 to go, and Cottle's not under 20 seconds yet.
This is a really nice thing about this grandstand view in a short track like Darlington here, is it makes it real easy to switch the cameras back and forth. So we can here see Wallet in the middle of the backstretch, and if we flip it back to Cottle, here comes Cottle coming out of turn 2.
Absolutely, and it's a wonderful camera that they have there, and I love it. It does look like, if you ask me, Cottle's not gaining anymore. He's not closing on Ed at this point. It's 21-1 again. Actually, it's okay. Now he has 20.4 now, which actually kind of scares me, because that means that Ed is not. It's not even half a lap at this point. Ed's actually closer than a half a lap.
Well, it was less than a full second that he took off the gap 2 times around ago, and this last time around 0.97, almost a full second. So he still needs to knock off more than a second a lap in order to close this interval, because he's 18 seconds behind, and there's 16 laps.
19. He is currently 19.0 behind, and there's more than that left. There's currently 15.
Well, he did knock another 1.06 seconds that last time around.
Has it down to 17.8 this time. But again, he's got to start knocking some two full seconds off. It's the only way he's going to catch him.
Another 1.06 seconds? Yeah, that's just not enough at this point. He's got to knock off 17 seconds in 13 laps. It's just...
Although a second and a half might actually be enough.
But he's not going to get it putting down at 28.649.
Right. He has to knock a second and a half down. The last time by, he didn't even knock down a full half second, I don't think. Or if he did, it was close.
And here he comes up behind Wallet. He's got the speed on him. He's going straight underneath. No muss, no fuss.
And he's got the position, but how much time did it cost him? Because I don't think he was able to run 1 and 2 the way he wanted to.
Well, he still took a second off that last time around, but that was before the pass, so we'll see what it looks like this time. Yeah, that cost him about a half second. He picked up a half second less going around the 48 car.
Well, we'll have to talk to him about his strategy, but quite frankly, I still think he probably would have been better off staying out. And that's just my opinion on it. We obviously have differing opinions, and he had a differing opinion of his own and decided that was his only chance, and I don't see it.
He's taken another second off here, but it does appear that your opinion's going to be the right one and mine the wrong one, so...
Yeah, with just it just seemed like with just too few laps to go. Maybe if there were 30 laps to go, maybe if there were 35 is what I mean, 35, 36, and he's in the wall, and I think that's going to be it. He's in the wall, and that's going to cost him so much time. I can't see him catching him now. So Ed Adams is going to come across the line and take 9 to go, I believe. Yes, he is. Just 9 laps remain here at the Dodge Avenger 400. Yes, we know it never existed. It's part of some of the fun that we get to have, such as the fact that these cars never went to Iowa. We're going to go to Iowa with them. They never went there, but we're going with them because they are fun. They are a lot of fun at Iowa. They did go to Rockingham back in the day, but we are following off of more of a 2007 era schedule. So going to Rockingham wouldn't be accurate. But no road courses and no Pocono. We're going to Rockingham.
Why don't you run in Pocono?
It was a decision by the league to avoid Pocono due to the fact that we would have to build a ridiculous setup that would not work because it is Pocono and it is a death triangle, and we just felt that going to Rockingham would probably be the better option.
And Ed Adams put in a faster time that last time around than Caudle. He must have gotten in the wall again.
I don't know, but I think it's time to hand Ed his trophy.
Yeah, this one appears to be over, barring any more contact with the wall.
Absolutely, and even then, it's going to take a hit that breaks something on Ed's car to remove him at this point. But I don't see that happening. I think Ed's just too consistent. It's not going to be something that ends up happening. As he takes it across the line, 5 to go. This time by, just 5 laps remain here at the Dodge Avenger 400. Next week is the Dodge Steelers. Dodges everywhere, and we can't do anything.
And it looks like Caudle's the one with the real problems right now. He's struggling to even turn his car left.
But Caudle will still be able to bring it home in second, so that is wonderful. Sadly, we will not be able to bring the 48 into the booth with us, as his mic does not work. He has a broken mic, so that is a disappointment. So we'll only have 2 interviews tonight. But nonetheless...
Well, the one thing I will note, though, is that it does appear, and we'll have to ask him when we get him in here, but it does appear that last pit that Caudle did was improvised. I don't think that was a part of his original plan. So we'll see, because you were thinking that he might have had a chance on it if he didn't pull that in.
I really did. I thought with Ed having to pass Jason still, and just the tire fall off and everything, I think Ed would have been right around the same lap times right about now, and they might have been closer. Ed might have been on his bumper but I think Cottle would have had more of a shot at it at that point.
And
but
Ed
we'll have to ask him.
is also sneaking up on Cottle's position on the track, but he's going to get the white flag this time by. One more lap to go for Ed Adams, the leader here at Rockingham at the Dodge Avenger. I'm sorry, we're at Darlington for the Dodge Avenger 400.
We've been talking about Rockingham all night. Got you all mixed up. But what I do know for sure, Ed's going to dive into 3 and 4 here, and everybody back in Japan is on their feet as Toyota is looking to put their first victory here at Super Championship Racing. They're going to do it. Ed Adams in the number 28 Monster Energy Toyota Camry is your winner today. John Cottle will finish second. Jason Willott third in the Lowe's Chevrolet. Joey Stetson fourth in the number 22 Caterpillar Dodge. And myself round out the top 5 in the Budweiser Dodge. So Ed, who didn't even take his cool-down lap, is now doing burnouts. How about that? How about that? While Ed is in the process of doing burnouts, I'm going to go ahead and pull Mr. John Rowdy Cottle down here. John Cottle, Nick Gillis in the ARAN broadcast booth.
Shoot me.
Got a copy?
Shoot me.
So, what are you doing?
Killing myself.
Killing yourself?
Killing myself.
Thwart my plans?
Start your plans?
Are you?
No.
Good. That'd be bad.
How bad?
Yep, murder you.
Murder me?
Yeah.
That's not good.
So can we assume by that you were not planning to come in for that last pit stop originally?
I was 2 laps short.
Oh,
you needed
there
fuel?
You go.
Yeah, I was 2 laps
There
short.
you go. That explains everything. So he wouldn't have been able to follow my thought process. I thought you stood a better chance if you stayed out, but if you were 2 laps short, then yeah, no, it was over.
And then I had enough cars there until I started just overdriving myself. I pushed that car harder than it needed to be pushed. If I would have just let the car do what it needed to do, I could have probably made it up. But once I started pushing harder than that car could go, it wasn't in the plans for it.
Well, we'll move on to Dover next week. How do you feel about your chances there?
Well, I feel like we're just going to keep knocking off top 2, top 3s, hopefully. Show up at Homestead, hopefully, with enough points to get there.
Or at least be close, I'm assuming.
Well, hopefully there's a big field at Homestead, and we can get a big enough gap right there if it comes down to that. Because if he's finishing 3rd and I'm finishing 2nd, it's not going to do anybody any good. And that was my fault. I shouldn't have. Well, early in the race, the real bad thing that happened was I pulled down. When I tried to get off the wall slightly, so I didn't slow down too much. When it came off, he came off. It wasn't no. I barely had the wheel turn, and it just plowed down to the bottom. I was like, "Oh crap, this is gonna suck."
And it was right in front of my boy, Joey.
Yeah, I didn't mean for that to happen. That was just, how you got to try. Yeah, get off the wall as fast as possible, but you just try to barely pull it. You barely pull it off, and then sometimes when you pull it off, it just whoop right in down 2 lanes, and you're just like, "What the hell did I do to deserve this?" Because it's coming. It's coming, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, like I said, we'll move on to Dover next week. If you want to sit here for a moment while we interview Ed, I'll get you both your points.
Definitely. That's it.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome. Good race, man.
Yep. So without much having to be said, since Cottle's pretty much introduced him here, welcome, Ed. How does it feel to not only get your first win, but pick up Toyota's first win, as you are pretty much the only Toyota that even runs in the league?
I tried my hardest to deny you that, by the way.
Oh yeah, you no doubt you did. You know, I came in here and I basically stole one. I was like, unfortunately I can't run the whole series like I originally planned. So to come in tonight and take one, you know, it's kind of fun. Wish more cars were out here. You know, it's kind of bittersweet. So it's really fun getting that win and everything. But as I said, it's bittersweet because it's such a small field. It's Darlington, man. There's really nothing to be afraid of. If you can run all the other short tracks, mile and a half, so you can run Darlington.
Yep. Hey, question for him. How bad would it have been if I would have had a fresh car still?
I think it would have been close. If the pit stops would have been timed out somewhat better, your car was damaged, but it could have still been close.
I was talking about if I had no damage.
Well, if you had no damage, I would have not done a couple things that I did because you definitely would have been a threat. Yeah, it would have been bad. Yeah, I took into account once you guys wadded it up like you did and everybody on the radio started chatting about how bad the cars were, I kind of just put it on autopilot, just stuck to my pit stop strategy of a two-stop strategy from there on out and just tried to keep the fenders clean.
Hey, what were you thinking when John came in for that last pit stop? Did you think that was going to be a problem?
At first, yeah, I did. But then looking at it as laps wound down, I knew that the way it was going to cycle out, that he was going to be on the lead lap. I had no doubt that he was going to be on the lead lap. And I figured he was still going to be within about 10 to 12 seconds back, and that's what it ended up being. So, and I made a couple mistakes there at the end. I didn't want to tell him, you know, he showed his hand a little bit and said, oh, I hit the wall, hit the wall. What happened to be, I scrubbed the wall on the same lap.
Oh, no, I killed the wall. I didn't scrub it. I killed it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, I scrubbed the wall about the same time you said you hit it there in the late running, so it kind of evened it out a little bit there, but I wasn't too worried. I knew as long as I kept the car clean the way it was, that it would have been a non-issue.
No, I had a meatball.
Well, John, welcome to the top 3 in points, by the way.
I'm coming for it, baby.
45 points behind the leader and 15 points behind second place. So
what you tell me is, as long as I finish in front of him every race from here on out.
I mean, you'd have to finish ahead of him by a couple positions at least a few times.
I mean, yeah, but I mean,
that's the way the old points work. Yes, as long as you finish ahead of somebody, you're going to gain points on somebody. That's kind of how point standings work.
So does this win lock me into that All-Star event at the end of the year?
No, this win locks you into next year's All-Star race.
Roger.
Now that we've passed the All-Star.
Are we doing that? Just a quick question. Are we going to do that where if you win, I mean, you win the All-Star race, you're locked in for life, aren't you?
Not for life, for 10 years.
Okay, it's 10 years? Okay.
Yeah. I think champions are locked, series champions are locked in for life.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm winning championship. That's it.
Well, there you have it. John Cottle is proclaiming he will win the championship, and quite frankly, I don't know that anybody's going to be able to challenge him. I sit 188 points back. I think me and Scotty are the next biggest competition that could possibly win races. No offense to Jason, he's run well, but I just don't see the way he finishes races sometimes. I can't see him per se walking away with the points lead. He's got to step it up. But nonetheless, he's managed to do what he can do, and he's done his job. He's the points leader. That's what he needs. Cottle's third place. He's moving up. I moved up 4 spots. I'm currently 8th. I'm thrilled about that. I'm only 188 points back. I'm right on track.
All I gotta say is I want my sim rig.
Yeah, well, you gotta win the title for that.
I'm gonna be SCR's champion. I'm claiming it. I'm not gonna be kid or anything. Damn it, I want it.
A lot of it's going to depend on how many races everybody shows up to. There's a big difference between, coming in 5th in a race like this and walking away with 37 points and not showing up and coming away with 0.
Like I told Ed, I'm focused on winning a lot of races too, because if I win races, that narrows the gap because I have 3 extra bonus points each race.
Yeah, he tried to make me feel bad, but I wasn't going to slow down.
Oh, I know you won't. I know you do. But if I got to your back bumper somehow magically,
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I would have expected that.
Ed said at this point, I'm only here to win races when I'm here. So
That's right. This is a
winning the
non-points
race.
deal.
oh yeah, definitely. But I would expect me to freak up like that next time at Darlington.
Yep, we do go back once again in February, so be ready for that. I am now looking forward to Rockingham and Michigan. Let me tell you, I'm excited for that Michigan event.
I'll tell you something else I didn't expect, Ed. When I got behind you, I got so tight, and that's what really screwed me.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting to see what was going to happen because earlier in the run, Joey had a run up behind me, and I was kind of bullish in the line. And it looked like he got aero tight as well, and I noticed he lost a lot of space. So when you came up, I was waiting to see if the same thing was going to happen.
With that being said, I do believe it's time to end the broadcast here, Eric. So, from all of us at ARAN and the Super Championship Racing, this has been a broadcast of the ARAN Automotive Racing Authority Network. We will see you next week, same time, same place, for the Dodge Dealers 400 from the Dover International Speedway.
All right, we will see you then.